it's sad, but it's like the future is really bright, so oh my god, I'm getting emotional. Hey guys, what's going on? Knicks versus Hawks, game 5. This could be the last game of the season for the Knicks, but we're not going to think like that because we're not gonna start this video off by thinking negatively. Honestly, I'm not super nervous about this game because honestly, in my head, I'm like, I think they can win this game. I'm just concerned about game 6 because in my head I'm like, yeah, I don't really know how they can win game 6. But listen, we haven't even played game 5 yet. We don't even know if there's going to be a game 6, but I don't know. I'm just hoping something happens when the Knicks return to the Garden, which they're going to do tonight. Like, I just hope playing on their home court just changes something with this team because we obviously know how bad they played the past 2 games. So let's just stop talking and get into this reaction. End of the first quarter, it's a tie game. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett still aren't putting up the best numbers shooting the ball, but that's okay because Julius Randle looks more confident to me. I don't know, I think it's the effect the Garden has because the Knicks playing in the Garden makes me more confident in them. It's just, I don't know, the Garden is awesome and just hearing it on TV, hearing the crowd on TV just makes me feel confident in this team. But the thing is, this game is just tied. And I say this game is just tied because Trae Young hasn't been shooting the ball great. His shooting numbers aren't great. And that makes me nervous as a Knicks fan because if Trae Young starts to look like the Trae Young we saw in every other game this series, that makes me nervous because with the way Trae Young played in this first quarter, the Knicks should be winning. Halftime, the Knicks are down by 5, but things got a little crazy, I guess, right at the end of the half. Both teams talking at half court, a little trash talk going on. Well, I really shouldn't say a little trash talk. There's kind of been a lot of trash talk throughout this series, and that was definitely the most trash talk we've seen in person right there at the end of the half. Let me say this. I don't want to complain about calls. Like, the Knicks are losing because the Knicks aren't playing well enough, but let me say this. The officiating in this game hasn't been great. It's not the reason the Knicks are losing, but I just want to say the officiating hasn't been great. And I'm not saying, again, that's why the Knicks are losing. I'm not, like, trying to say, oh, the Knicks are only losing because of the refs, because I hate when people do that. But I just want to say it hasn't been great. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett still need to step up more. Like, they're still just not their regular season selves. And that's what I've been saying throughout all these reactions. We have to see Julius and RJ be their regular season selves, but they're just not there yet. RJ had a nice bucket. He was being aggressive, and that's what you like to see out of RJ Barrett. He had a 3 that almost dropped, but it didn't. It, like, came out of the bucket. And the Hawks had a 3-point ball, too, that, like, came out of the basket. It looked like it went through, but then it, like, came out. So, like, I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but in this game specifically, I've seen at least 2 baskets that looked like they were halfway down, and then just, like, the ball came out. So I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but it's definitely frustrating to watch. It happened to both the Knicks and the Hawks, but, yeah. The thing that is concerning me, and I kind of talked about this at the end of the first quarter, Trae Young, his shooting numbers aren't great still, but the Knicks are still losing, and that's concerning, right? Because if Trae Young isn't playing like Trae Young, the Knicks should be able to take the lead, right? And the Hawks, as a team, aren't shooting well from 3-point range at all. They're shooting so bad. Their 3-point percentage has to be so bad in this game right now. But the Knicks are still losing, and that's concerning to me as a Knicks fan. I don't know what's going to happen in the next half because if the Hawks start to hit the 3 ball, the Knicks are going to be in trouble. I don't know what they're going to do then, unless the Knicks get hot from 3 themselves. Like, I don't know, because the Knicks, they're shooting okay from 3. They're not shooting bad from 3 at all. Reggie Bullock has been shooting the 3 ball really well tonight, but the Hawks haven't, and the Knicks are still losing. So I don't know. The Knicks need Julius Randle to be Julius Randle. Like, that's what it's been this whole series. Like, Julius Randle needs to go off in this next half. Like, he really does. Him or RJ, one of those guys has to just take over this game. That's really what it is. And the Hawks can't get hot from 3. If the Knicks want to win this game, that has to happen. So I don't really understand the Trae is balding chant because it doesn't really look like he's balding, and there are other players in this league who are actually balding. So like, I don't know, it just doesn't make a ton of sense. So it's the third quarter, the Knicks are down by 7, they just called a timeout, and this is where I get nervous as a Knicks fan, because the third quarter is where it seems the game has been getting away from them in these past few games. The third quarter is when, you know, the Hawks have been getting these really big leads. So yeah, I hope this third quarter doesn't get away from the Knicks like it has in the past few games. So hopefully the Hawks don't take a huge lead here in this third quarter. End of the third quarter, and things did not go great for the Knicks in the third quarter yet again. Oh my gosh, the turnovers. They were just turning the ball over so much in the third quarter. I mean, it was like they didn't even want the ball. They were just like, here, take this. Here, Hawks, take this ball. We don't want it. They just couldn't get things going offensively. This Hawks defense has played so well, really, this whole series. This Hawks defense has really surprised me, honestly, because they've been playing really well and just really making things tough for this Knicks offense. So Quickley came back into the game at the end of the third quarter, and I was just so happy to see this because I have been thinking throughout this series, or throughout the past 3 games, why don't they play Quickley more? Because he is the guy on this team who can really get hot from 3-point range and really has, I would say, the most limitless range on this team. Like, he's the guy who can hit a 3-point shot from kind of close to the logo. He doesn't have Trae Young range, but listen, Quickley has range. But yeah, Quickley made an impact as soon as he came into the game. I mean, he was making a ton of plays in such a short amount of time, so they gotta see if they can get Quickley really going from 3 quickly, because we're heading into the fourth quarter and the game is almost over and the season's on the line. So the game is over and the Knicks season is over. Yeah, it's sad, but it's like the future is really bright. So, oh my god, I'm getting emotional. I mean, this was such an incredible season, such an unexpected season, and you know, for the first time in a really long time, I'm like, the Knicks have a bright future. Like, I'm confident this team can make the playoffs next year. And that's the first time I've said that in a very, very long time. I don't even remember actually saying that because I wasn't a huge basketball fan when I was younger. But it's just sad that the season had to end like this. You know, 3 really bad games back to back to back. It's sad to end the season like that, but it made me sad, you know, hearing the "Let's Go Knicks" chant at the end of the game with like 4 seconds left when they were down by so much. It was like, oh, like, it was just, I don't know. But the future's so bright, so I'm excited for the future. Like, it's sad that this run had to come to an end, but, you know, you can continue the run next year, I guess, because this is just the start for the Knicks. I gotta give credit to the Hawks and Nate McMillan, because what they did throughout this season and this series was really incredible. Especially their defense in this series. Like, what they did to this Knicks offense was crazy. Like, this is a very good young team. This Hawks team is very young and they're very good. And yeah, like, I'm interested to see what this team is going to do in the future. Maybe we'll see another matchup next year between the Hawks and the Knicks in the playoffs. Because I believe both these teams have really bright futures. I really do. But yeah, it was definitely a fun series in the beginning. Like, the first 2 games were definitely fun. Not so much the last 3 because they were big losses for the Knicks. But yeah, congrats to the Hawks and congrats to all the Hawks fans for winning this series. The Hawks definitely played better than the Knicks. But that's it for this video, guys. Make sure you drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Peace out.